Hi and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show how to record to an instrument track using a virtual instrument and an external keyboard controller. So we're going to create a track. I'm going to show you a couple different recording modes as well as we move along. So we're going to review how to create an instrument track. So in the browser on the Instrument tab, I just go to the Presonus Instruments under Presence. I'm going to choose a piano sound. I like the Presence Grand piano sounds. So I'll just choose one of these presets and drag it to the arranged view. We'll just use the Studio Grand. Now in a few seconds, the user interface for Presence with the Studio Grand preset loads, and I also have my instrument track. So let's take a look at what's on the instrument track. Looks like it's hooked up and it's working. We have mute, solo, record enable, and input monitoring. One thing about input monitoring is that you won't hear anything when you play if input monitoring is turned off. So if I turn this off, play on the keyboard, I don't get any sound at all. So if you're wondering why you're not getting sound through your virtual instrument, you need to have this on. This icon opens the user interface for the virtual instrument. So if I have the user interface closed and I click here, the user interface for the virtual instrument will come right back. Now you'll see here, this is the selection for which virtual instrument. If you have multiple virtual instrument instances loaded, you can choose them right here. So it's set to Presence, and that makes sense. Also, if you have multiple keyboard controllers, then you can choose those here. Before I showed you how to use the QWERTY keyboard as an alternate controller. I'm going to leave it set to the LPK 25. This allows you to put this kind of track into a group just like an audio track. So for recording with MIDI, I think it's very helpful to use the new Record panel. So under View, you'll find Record panel is right here. There is a keyboard shortcut for that as well. And that loads all the recording modes and controls along the bottom edge. So for the first example, we're going to put it in overdub mode. Overdub and replace are the two key record modes. All these other controls have to do with loop recording, and we will get to those in the next video. Now I want to check a couple things. I've got the loop turned off, I've got the pre-roll turned on, and I'm ready to record. I just need to click right here to start recording, or I can use the number pad, the asterisk key. And I hit the space bar to stop recording. I can rewind with the comma key, just like anything else, and you can see that I've recorded my part. I can expand this out. You can even see the timing of the part. If I play back, you should be able to hear it. I'll zoom out just slightly here. So there's a simple example of recording with MIDI into Studio One. Now is a good time to talk about latency with virtual instruments. Latency, as you might recall, under Preferences, to pull up the Options dialog box, if I look at the audio setup, the latency is reported right here. I have it set with my device block size to 64 samples, giving me a very low latency. That way, when I play my keyboard, I don't hear really any perceptible delay between when I play and when we actually hear the sounds. But if we set this to a much longer one, like 512 or say 1024, now I've got 50 milliseconds. That would give me a noticeable lag between playing notes on the keyboard and when I actually hear them. So you'll want to optimize your system and set this as low as you really can with getting stable playback to get the best feel of your performances using virtual instruments. I'm going to leave it set at 64. Next, I want to talk about the overdub mode versus the replace mode. In the overdub mode, when I play an additional note on an additional take, it will just add what I'm playing to what I have. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So before I played a C chord, so I want to add a bass note an octave down from this. So I'm going to basically enable recording and just record over this part again, adding the bass note. And you can watch and see what happens. When I stop playing back, it actually merged it in with that event. Now you can see my bass note is added right in with the other events. If I'm in replace mode, it will actually overwrite what I've played before. So I'll record a few bars of this in the replace mode so you can see the difference. Right, and you can see that what happened there is it actually created a new event. Now, if you carefully look at what's actually happened here, if we roll back the edge of this event, you'll see that it's created a new event and it's kind of shortened this one because the original data is still actually in there. So you don't really have to worry about completely eliminating what you had. It's still in there, but it's just not visible. So you probably noticed that my playing was a little bit off the beat. You can see the beginning of the notes is anticipating the measure a little bit there, and it's a little bit late here and a little bit off. If you want, you can quantize on the input based on the setting you have right here. Since this is a pretty straight part, I'm just going to set this to quarter notes for quantize, and down here I'm going to turn on this button right here for input quantize. Now when I play, it will automatically adjust the timing of the starts of my notes. So I'm going to record another example here with the input quantize turned on. So now you can see when I zoom in that the note starts are perfectly on the beat, and when I play back, you'll hear that the timing is really tight. So you can use this if your timing is a bit off, but you'll maybe sacrifice a little bit of the feel. If we look carefully here as we zoom in, there is absolutely no variation on this at all. Another way to do this is quantize after the fact, which I'll be showing you a little bit later when we talk about editing. You can see here that the ends of the notes are not quantized. It's only the note starts that are quantized in this situation. So that's how you record with a virtual instrument in Studio One, and also the difference between the overdub, the replace modes, and how the input quantize works. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.